Hey guys, welcome to the show today. Another episode of the Nerd News Desk, doing things a little differently. You can see I have my headphones on because today we are going to be looking at a product. And we have that product right here, directly from wish.com. Yeah, that's right. This is a Wish buy, and this may be the most terrible thing I ever purchased. I don't know. But what I saw listed on there were mini arcade machines. Now, if you've seen the thumbnail, you, of course, have seen these. So you know what we're going to be talking about here. But it was one of those things where I wanted to see if these things were worth buying because I like collecting little arcade machines. I've been buying the micro arcades, everything from, you know, these little keychain guys that can play arcade games to some of these bigger micro arcade machines that we've seen. A lot of the Data East games coming out on those. And so, yeah, I have an arcade on top of my arcade machine. And I thought, wouldn't it be neat to look at these things from Wish and see if any of them are any good? And I turned something on up there, so something's playing. So maybe you can hear some music from the little arcade machines up there. But we're going to take a look. Here's this package. I bought four. They had four different colors, so I bought one of each color. And they also listed that they were available with, was it 128 games or 200 and... It wasn't 256, I don't think. It was 268 games. I don't know. But anyway, there was a smaller and a larger. So I bought all four colors, and two of them came with the larger, and two of them came with the smaller. And so now I want to see if they were any good. So let us get this open. And it came in an envelope, and I can tell that part of it's already crushed. It didn't survive the trip from China very well, but nonetheless, I'm still kind of excited. You know, you get something new, you're excited, even though it may be terrible, it may be hot garbage. It's still kind of fun to get things. All right, so open it up here. Wow, there is the first box. That is one heck of a dinged up box there. That is in horrible, horrible shape for making it over. But there's the black. Now I don't remember which ones I said were the smaller set of games. Oh, does this say on the back maybe? No, it doesn't. So, oh, this says 268 and 1. Okay, this says 268 and 1. So we'll see. And I'm also wondering, are they 268 different games, or is it one of those things where you get like 30 games and they just repeat them, you know, on and on afterwards? So we'll see. So there's the black one. And here's the blue. Now this one survived a lot better. The blue, this also says 268 in 1. I wonder if they all say 268 even if they come with less games. All right, so here's red. And actually that one survived pretty well. And this also says 268 in 1. All right, so either they sent me all of them with the higher number of games, or they just have the one box and you'll get... Oh, and there's a white one upside down, or backwards, or whatever, inside the box. That's interesting. All right, fair enough. Okay, so already right now I'm kind of questioning how good an idea this was, looking at the way these came through. And this one has a nice big inventory sticker right on the front bubble. So if you were going to resell these, or you're hoping to display them in the package, that's not going to be a thing. Okay, I guess we will. Let's start with this one since it's already out. So we'll set these other ones off to this side here for just a minute. Cool. All right, let's take a look. Now this is my desk. Yes, this is how my desk always looks. It is pretty much always messy. I try to clean it every so often, and it just gets messy again. So I've kind of given up on trying to clean it. I wanted to have a space to, you know, open product and display and whatever, and my desk just has to be my desk. That's what it is. So, top piece of plastic there that was supposed to hold it in place. It failed. And nothing else. There's no other plastic in there except for this piece to hold it in place. So, all right. There is the machine. Ooh, and it is Boy, it got banged up in travel. Now, there is a little bit of a clear shell, but I don't know if I can get this to show up very well on camera. You can see it looks all scraped up there. Looks like it's been all torn apart, but it's really a thin piece of plastic here. So peel that off and it's all right. So this machine, it's just kind of your basic arcade console look. Although it does look more like the Japanese. Honestly, it looks like these sit-down ones. If you've ever been to a Japanese arcade, you know they've got the pachinko machines and their video game machines. They all sit down. You've got a space here. You slide your chair in, and this would be kind of in your lap to use. That's what this looks like to me. Now you can see a spot there where there should be a little screw there to hold it in place, but luckily they didn't put one in probably because they're cheap. But I actually appreciate that because I hate having to mess with screws just every time you want to switch out the batteries. Now the funny thing is the batteries. Here you can see 3-section dry cell 7. Now dry cell 7, I don't remember if that's AA or AAA. But one of the things that this thing touted was it was better for the environment because it didn't have a rechargeable battery to get thrown away. Now think about that for a second. Let's pause for a second just to think about that. One of the selling points of your product is when you throw it away, it won't be as bad for the environment because it's not going to have one of those rechargeable batteries going into the landfill. Is that the message you want to portray when you throw this product in the garbage? Because you're going to throw it in the garbage. They just want to make that clear right up front. Anyway, all right. So let's get back to this guy and pop it open here. Triple A's. These are triple A's. So I grabbed double A's and triple A's because I couldn't remember what size 7 was. So we have some here. Yeah, well that got it right open. Grab 3 of those. Here. And yeah. All right. Okay, now looking at the buttons here, we've got sound. So this is the sound button. We've got a reset, start, pause. You've got your A and B, and then your power switch, and of course the joystick. And this joystick, this feels. It's got some tension on it. It's going to pop right back to the middle position, which is good. You don't want them to be too terribly mushy. Although these these are horribly mushy. And these actually, you can kind of see. I don't know if I can get this to notice, but when you press one, the other one moves too, because it's one piece of plastic underneath for both buttons. So that is a little cheap, but you know it is what it is. So. Oh, that looks familiar. Picking between the English and Chinese. I'm pretty sure this is the set of Nintendo ROMs. Oh, there is Angry Bird. Now this is 268 in one. Let's go. Yep, there's 268. Okay. So there are 268 games, apparently. And none of these 3 at the end appear to be the same ones from the beginning. So that is good. But we do start with the Angry Bird, the Nintendo knockoff version for ROMs of Angry Birds. Oh, it gets louder. I thought that would make it softer. And then no sound at all. And the screen, you can see it is full color. Pixel depth is not incredibly high. And let's see what our birds do. Very few frames there. Not a lot of animation to it. Try to get a shot here where you guys can see. Wow. Fantastic. All right, let's go back to the menu here. Start the doing. Start. So Super Contra, Super Mario Brothers, Adventure Island, Circus Charlie, Road Fight, Tank, F1 Race, QU, Kung Fu, Galaga, Brush Roller, Mario Brothers, Load Runner, Bubble, Dig Dug, Five Chess, Bomberman, Pooyan, Lunar Ball, Ice Climber, Icky, City Connection, Frontline, Twin Card. Okay, so I'm having some problems here as I'm going with it, wanting to go multiples. I got to be a little more careful here. So far, none are repeating. Mappy, Pac-Man, there was Popeye on there, Balloon Fight, Karatika, Joust, Galaxian, Jewelry, I don't know what that is, Arkanoid. We got Dash, Hurdles. Okay, so some of these do look like, let me try this 100-meter dash. This, oh, I hit it too early. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. That looks like it may be out of one of those, like Olympic Games or track and field, whatever, and they've taken each one of those games and made it into its own thing. But we do have games here that look like the actual games that were released. Pinball, tennis, Final Man, Wrecking Crew. That's cool. This was just called Shooting. What is shooting? What are we shooting? Ah, again, this looks like this is skeet shooting from a track and field. I don't understand how this works. Huh. Okay, so that'll take some getting used to figure out some of these, but so far, though, to be fair, none of them are repeating. Space War. Oh, Excise. That is not Space War. Okay, but nonetheless, it's an actual game and it's playing, so it's got that going for it. So okay, so we can say, I mean, that's at least something, that there are 268 different games, some of them better than others, some of them, you know, I don't know if I necessarily want to play something like Super Mario Brothers, where you can see that it's an illegal ROM. I don't know that Nintendo would enjoy that. Although we can, here's something interesting. All right, I'll go ahead and show this. If we look at this, I don't know if you can see this, but there are some pixels missing. Like oh, come on, get in there. It's kind of been squeezed to fit the screen. Can you see that at the bottom row of like the top score there is missing? There's just some little things. So the resolution has been brought way down to fit on this little screen. So this little screen is probably a 240 by whatever. So it's small. So some pixels are missing in order to get them to fit on here, which is weird. But not terribly uncommon in a lot of these cheap little machines. Oh, and it's running fast. And I'm already dead. Because I'm trying to play through the viewfinder of what's streaming instead of looking at the actual screen here. But yeah, it's running a little fast. So whatever processor they're using is a little more powerful than what was in the original Nintendo. So some of these ROMs are going to run at the wrong speed. But, I mean, yeah, it is the full amount of games. Hey, Dusty, what's going on? Dusty says they look pretty cool, just a little small for my taste. Well, and that was part of the thing. Like I said, I've got a collection of many arcade machine devices that have come out in the last few years. So I just thought it'd be fun to just have some to go along with that. But since we do have 4 of these, let's open the rest of them here real quick and see if they are all 268. Did they just send me all 268, or have any of them the smaller ROM sets? So there's the blue. And again, we have this cover to peel off. And we need batteries, so we'll just go ahead and steal these real quick. Like when you're a kid, you get a couple things on Christmas that took batteries, so your parents would only buy enough batteries to get you through one thing. So you end up swapping batteries between your devices. That is one thing for rechargeable batteries, though. Everything has its own battery set. All right, so let's turn this on. That's exactly the same. 268 and 1. Yeah, and it's the same set of games. So this one looks exactly the same. Let's try a different game real quick. Donkey Kong 3. And that is Donkey Kong 3 on the NES. And there it is. And, to be fair, it does look pretty good on this tiny little screen. It's not the worst thing ever. Okay. So, all right, so we got two 268s. So are these the 128 or whatever, or are they all the 268s? Another one. Throw in trash. Peel off that screen cover. Swap out our batteries. Yes, these are cheap Walgreens batteries. I did not buy any Duracells or Evereadys, anything like that. Not for these. For something that I thought I'd be playing more, wanted to have on display longer, I might. But for these things, not so much. Okay, so what do we have in here? Exactly the same, 268. Okay, so even though two of these are supposed to have less ROMs on them, they are, in fact, the full ROM set. Let's just double check. Yep. All of those games are the same. Now, some of these, are these really? Okay, so like, Happy Boys. What is Happy Boys? What game is this? Bounce. It's a game called, it's Mappy, but it's Mappy, but it's been modified. So the ROM is actually different. They've redone some of the characters here. So that's kind of funky. Interesting. Okay, so in a sense that is a duplicate because it is Mappy, but it's a different ROM because they've edited some of the characters. And that may be one of those things. A lot of times in China, they didn't have the NES. They weren't allowed to import it for a long time, so people would, of course, bootleg it, and then they would make their own versions of games and resell them to everybody, and it was really, whoa, what is this? Mario and Donk. I'm assuming that's Donkey Kong. It's just Donkey Kong. Okay. Even though it's called Mario and Donk, it is Donkey Kong. And you can see, again, some of the pixels are missing because they've had to squeeze it down to fit onto this little thing. But it is the game. It's not... Yeah. So, that is the game. That is really Donkey Kong from the NES on there. Okay, so the question, how much did these cost? Let's see, they were $5 for the ones that said they had the 128 games or whatever, and they were $7 for the ones that said they had the 268 games, and then shipping was $5 a piece for each of them. So you're looking at $10 or $12 for each of these, depending on the games. And then considering two of these are supposed to have less ROMs and so far, all of these have had the complete ROM set. Looks like you can save yourself a couple bucks if you want to buy one of the smaller ones. Although I wonder if, just for convenience sake on their part, they just sent me the other ones. I wonder if I bought it separately, if I would just get the smaller set. I don't know. Is it worth buying more to see if I get them? Maybe not. All right, let's see this one. I'm going to bet, again, full ROM set. Yep, 268. Yep, and it's the exact same games. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing that they have the same games. I mean, I've got 4 of them. so different people can all play, and you can all pick different ones. I'm just kind of looking at some of the games here to see what else. Love House. Ooh, what is Love House? Nuts and Milk. Okay. Nuts and Milk. I've seen this on other ROM sets, but I am not familiar with this at all. I really don't know what it is. Cool. All right, let's reset here. Let's see what else we got. I think Nuts and Milk was actually listed as another game. So that may be the thing. That may be how they get you. Some of these, maybe they do duplicate the ROMs. They just have them in different names. Okay, Load Runner. That was labeled as something else. Okay, Alien Fight. Let's see what that is. Contest 2004. What? I have no idea what this game is. Contest 2004. Okay, so that one was new. That's something. Table balls. I'm guessing table tennis. It's something Wars, copyright 1985. And again, missing some pixels because of the way it's. Looks kind of like carpet ball. Oh, internet. Okay, it's a tournament. I don't care. Start. I don't understand what's going on. I have no idea how that game works, but at least okay. So that's not just the same game. Mario Print. Shoot card. What is shoot card? City Connection. Okay. So we do have City Connection on here. Somewhere else also. I used to play this game a lot in the arcade, actually. Wasn't necessarily good at it, but I enjoyed it. All right, so now if I go to regular City Connection on here, is it going to be, where did I see that? City Connection, there it is, number 23. Yep, it's the same. So, we do have some games duplicated under different names, but unlike most of these where it's just the same ones listed over and over, there are different games in between, which makes me think that these were ROMs with a different name, maybe because they were sold on the, black market in China. Eating birds. Oh, Bird Week. Huh. Huh. All right then. Okay. So what did we learn? I like the Space Invaders background on the game select screen. Sounds like it was missing some audio on the table tennis game. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that game, so I don't know exactly what that one's supposed to sound like, and it very well could be. Like I said, some of these were running, like Super Mario Brothers was running a little fast. It wasn't running at the same speed. But look, considering how cheap it was, these buttons do feel a little cheap, but they worked. They were on. It was a little hard for me to play because I was holding it up, right underneath this camera, trying to show you, so I couldn't really see the screen very well. I was actually holding it here and then looking back this direction at my computer screen to see what I was doing, which makes it a little difficult. But I gotta say, I mean, for $10, $12 even, to buy the more expensive one, they're not bad. They're really not. The sticks all have a good spring to them. They snap right back into place. The buttons, they're mushy. They are mushy, but they're tiny. So being so small, it's a little different from having one of those knockoff NES machines. Um, excuse me. We have the much bigger buttons, and they're mushy because these are so small. They have so little travel. They're barely even moving, and they're so tiny that you're not like hitting the edge of the button and it failing to register, which happens on some of those. These things are so small, you're right on them. They don't travel very far, so I can kind of excuse it on this, but I really I do like this stick the way it comes back. Now I can feel moving it around on the inside. It's definitely cut cross in the middle. You can move it, kind of in a circle, but you can definitely feel where it's hitting resistance, where it doesn't quite want to move smoothly. So your four directions, it's definitely trying to point you towards one, which is nice. Get those cardinal directions there. Um, yeah, and it runs on 3 AAA batteries. So, I mean, yeah, overall, this is not a bad machine. Um, would I sit and play on one of these? That's the question. Now, I do, like I said, with these other little arcade games, I will sit and play on some of these. And when you're ordering online, it's kind of hard to tell like how big they're actually going to be when they arrive. So these, you can sit and play a little more easily. When you play on ones like these tiny little keychain ones, of course, they're so tiny. It gets really hard. And these also kind of have a problem with the way the screen, because it's so low definition. There are missing pixels in those as well. So you do run into that same problem. Now, the one thing on these little guys that you're just going to have to deal with one way or another is the fact that there's no graphics. So it is just solid color. Now, this one, it's black with black buttons. The red, they put white buttons on, so it's a little easier to see. The blue is all blue. So there's that, and then the white has the red. So they swapped the colors on these two between the shells and the buttons. So visually, it's a little more stimulating, whereas the black and blue are exactly they're the same all the way through. So it's a little harder to distinguish on these. But yeah, I mean, I like them. Maybe I will print out some stickers because you do have space, kind of like the Neo Geo Mini had a space there, and they had different stickers you could choose from. Now, this is obviously smaller than that, but I can print something out and stick it on there. And then you do have some space along here. And I might even have something laying around that's, got some arcade theme to it. I might have some Tron stickers sitting here or something that maybe I could throw something on there. And because they are different colors, the black and blue, it'd be easy to throw some Tron stickers on and make them look kind of like Tron machines. This white, this reminds me of the Konami machines with like Saturday Night Slam Masters and some of that stuff. Because I believe those were mainly a white machine that they reused on a lot of those arcade games. So there's something there. The red, man, I don't know, what was... I'm looking at some of my other arcade games up there to see if I have something in red. But I could make some, so that's another thing, because I do like Tron. Maybe this could be the regular Tron. This could be discs of Tron. I could turn this one into Space Paranoids. Maybe this one into Matrix Blaster. So some of the fictional games from the Tron universe as well, I might be able to apply some stickers and do that. So there are definitely some things missing, but at the price point of $10 to $12, and that includes shipping from China. $10 completely shipped, $12 completely shipped. That is a fairly decent price. You just have to wait a month for them to come in. But yeah, wow, these are pretty neat. So I enjoy these. I'm giving these a thumbs up. I like them, and again, they're going to go with my collection of other little arcade games. I've got a whole bunch of arcade games on my arcade game. In fact, that Nerd News Desk logo is blocking right now, so you can't even see all the stuff that's up there. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to rearrange the camera at some point in the future, so that's a little more shown off. But nonetheless, good toys. So thanks for checking out. Let's see. I was about to say it shouldn't be too hard to find some decals for them. Right, Dusty. Exactly. They're small enough. You could probably even get sticker paper, run it through your own printer, print something out small. You don't have to worry about covering a huge area. It's also on these, with them being kind of a thin area, it's almost the same dimension in here as it is along here. So you really only need one shape. Put different stuff in, print them out, cut them, slap them on there, and you've got different stuff going. Oh, one other thing, just real quick. I noticed that the quality in cutting out some of the holes is not the same on all of them. So, like, for instance, on this white one, you can see that at the top of that hexagon shape, oh, come on, the auto adjust of the brightness. Can't figure out what to do with a giant white box. Can't do it. Come on. There we go. You can see that that top corner of that hexagon shape is missing. There's two more holes that should be there that are not there. If you look at, is it the blue one, the black one? If you look at the black one, you can see that the hole is there, but it didn't get punched out all the way. So it looks like a little white hole from where the plastic didn't get completely cut out. Whereas on the red and the blue, yeah, those are both completely fine with those holes. So you do have some small things here and there because they are cheap. You also have some seams, which, you know, we should probably at least acknowledge the fact that you can see where there are seams underneath the screen. I don't know how well they're going to show up on camera, but there are some seams coming down on the side. So you can see where it was assembled and put together. But here's the other thing. If you had something like a Raspberry Pi and you wanted to build your own tiny little machine, this might not be a bad way to spend the $10, get the shell, remove the screws, probably a couple screws in here. Yeah, two screws here, two screws up here. Remove the 4 screws, open it up, and you can rip out the guts of whatever this thing is, throw your Pi in there. You've got a tiny screen. You can probably interface with it, or you might have to get a new 2-inch screen, 2.5, whatever this is, and throw it in there. But you've got, you know, you've got buttons, you've got a screen, you've got a speaker. Throw your own Pi in there, and you might have a decent way of building your own funky little machine. In fact, something like this would be fun. If you had a Pi, throw it in there, maybe cut a hole in the side for HDMI, so you can sit here and play it, but then you can go to somebody's house, whatever, plug it into the TV, use this like a controller, just kind of hold it, you know, like this while you're playing and have it on the big screen. That might be something too. So definitely some ideas if you like to DIY your arcade games. But I am not, I was a little scared when I first opened and saw how crushed those boxes were. Now, if you order the smaller ROM set and you actually get the smaller ROM set, is it going to be the same 20 games repeated over and over like they do in a lot of these things? It very well may be. Or you may get, like what happened here, you may get the 268 if you buy the cheaper 128 or 125 or whatever it was. So keep that in mind if you're really worried as far as that goes. But for the most part, I just got them as, you know, fun little pieces to go into the collection with all the other arcade stuff. I just thought it'd be a neat thing to throw in there with the others, and with the, you know, total price being as cheap as it was, I wasn't that concerned about how they actually turned out, because it was more for the looks. But now the idea of customizing them into the Tron Universe Incom gaming machines, now I'm more excited. That seems like a lot more fun. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out popculturenetwork.com for more awesome stuff. You can go to thepopc.net. Check out the other stuff that we have going on there. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.